Hey everyone, and welcome into this episode today. It is so nice to be back here with you. And today I'm going to be diving into a bit of a conversation around wounded masculine energy. Now, I have talked quite extensively on this podcast about feminine and masculine energy, and these are energies that exist inside of all of us. And our feminine or masculine energy can either express itself in a healthy and embodied and empowered way, or it can express itself in a wounded, unhealthy, and dysfunctional way. And this is where a lot of the limiting patterns and the challenges that we encounter as women comes from, when these energies are not running in their healthy expression inside of us. So I'm going to focus in today on wounded masculine energy. I'm going to help you understand a little bit more about this energy, how this might be playing out inside of you, and why this energy is actually repelling what you want. And when we show up in this energy to try to create what we want, we are actually pushing away the very thing that we're trying to create. So I'm going to walk through 3 different areas where this can play out for you: relationships, work and business and career, and also within yourself. And I'm going to talk you through how this might be playing out, why this might be repelling what you want in these areas of your life, and also the shift that you can make around it. Because ultimately what we want is to be moving from a place where we have a deep connection to our feminine energy. So we really want to be actually moving and operating from our healthy feminine energy and bringing in healthy masculine energy to support our feminine and to help us have more of what we want. So you're going to understand through this episode how actually coming back into your feminine and drawing on your healthy masculine really is the key to creating what you want, magnetizing what you want, and actually truly receiving what you want. So I've got a lot to cover with you today. It's going to be a really powerful and juicy conversation. Before I get into that, I just want to let you know that we have enrollments open for Divine Femme at the moment. Divine Femme is my 6-month feminine healing and embodiment program where we work a lot on your masculine and feminine energies. We do a lot of healing around this. We bring these energies into balance and really get you moving forward in your power. So we have enrollments open until Sunday, the 10th of November at the moment. And there is early bird pricing until Wednesday, the 6th of November. So if you want to join Divine Femme in this intake, you have this week to join until Sunday, and you can get early bird pricing until Wednesday, the 6th of November. I know a lot of you who listen to this podcast really resonate with everything I share about Divine Femme. You resonate with everything I share in this podcast. And if you do want further support, you want to be part of a community, you want to dive into doing this work, you want to get personalized coaching from me around creating these transformations within yourself, come and learn more about Divine Femme and join this intake, the last intake of 2024, before we close the doors on the 10th of November. Go down to the show notes, click the link, and I would love to see you in there. Okay, so I want to unpack a little bit more around what it looks like when we are moving from our wounded masculine energy in our life. Now, our masculine energy is our doing energy. It is the energy that we bring into our actions, our plans, our decisions, our strategies, the steps we're taking, the thoughts we're thinking. It is a more mental, logical, intellectual, thinking-based energy, and it is a doing-based yang energy. So it's the energy we use to make things happen in our life, to do things, to take action. So obviously the way that we can be doing things and taking action can feel really grounding and empowered and clear and calm and constructive, or it can feel more frenetic and stressful and anxiety inducing and overwhelming and panicked and reactive and fear-driven. And this is where we really want to look at the different ways that we are taking action and creating and making things happen in our life. So when we're moving more from wounded masculine energy in our life, we will find that all of our doing, so our actions, our plans, our decisions, the strategies we're coming up with, the thoughts we're thinking, even the goals we're going after and the steps we're taking towards them, are being driven by fear. Now, this might be subconscious. You may not consciously think, oh yeah, I'm in a state of fear right now. There is some type of subconscious fear, often that is driving the way we are doing. And it also can be conscious. You might be consciously aware that you are feeling a bit dysregulated, a bit stressed, a bit fight or flighty in your nervous system, but it also can be subconscious. And the fears that are often driving us are things like the fear that it won't happen, the fear that it won't happen, fear of failure, fear that we will fail, the fear that we're not good enough, the fear that we're unworthy, the fear that we're unloved. And that actually causes us to start to try to prove through our action, through our achievements, through what we're doing, that we are enough. We're constantly trying to prove that we are enough, we are worthy, we are lovable through how much we're doing, through what we're trying to achieve, through how we're performing. It can be driven by the fear that we won't get what we want or that we won't get our needs met. That is a subconscious fear that we're not going to get what we want, or that we won't get certain needs met that feel really important. It can be driven by the fear that it's not going to work out. When maybe we're not seeing any proof or evidence that it's going to work out, that we're going to get what we want. And also the fear that we won't be okay. It can be driven by a deeper fear of feeling unsafe. Unsafe because we're not going to get what we want, and that we won't be okay if we don't get what we want. And when this fear energy starts to get activated, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it will start to leave us taking action in a certain way that is quite fear-driven. So this can look like starting to force, starting to get into hustle mode, starting to really push towards your goals and your outcomes. This is where you start finding yourself taking excessive action, over relying on how much you're doing to trying to make it happen. A lot of effort, right? The more effort I put in, the more likely it is that I'm going to get my result. If it's not working, I'm going to try harder and do more and push more and effort more so that I can get what I want. This will leave you chasing after your desires. So feeling like you're chasing after these things that you want, trying to get them. Yeah? You might find yourself not being able to trust the timing and beginning to rush the timing, beginning to try to push things along so they move faster so that you can get to where you want to be. You might find yourself starting to control. Control is a really common one that plays out from wounded masculine energy and from a place of fear, because we feel unsafe, we feel out of control. We feel out of control around the fact that it's not happening fast enough. Is it going to happen? So let me use control to try to make sure that it will happen. And we start to micromanage the process, and we start to micromanage other people. Okay, so all of this starts to play out, and you will find the way that you're taking action, it's like you're over-functioning. You're over-efforting, you're overdoing, you're over-controlling, you're overthinking. It's this excessive use of action and force and doing to try to get what you want, and it's fundamentally coming from fear. And you're either trying to get the outcome that you want, you're trying to get the feeling that you want, you're trying to get a need met that feels really important to you, and there's a fundamental fear that it's not going to happen, you're not going to get it, it's not going to work out. And so because you don't know how to be with that fear and alchemize it and feel it and hold yourself through it, all that fear energy just starts driving you. You get really dysregulated in your nervous system, and then you go into this frenetic doing state to try to compensate, to try to get back in control and make yourself feel safe again. And that is really the underlying frequency of wounded masculine energy. That's inherently how it really runs inside our bodies and our nervous systems. And often this comes from some deeper belief systems or some deeper wounding. And on some level, we might hold the belief, and we might have picked this up at a young age, we might have learnt this throughout our life. We hold the belief that the way we get what we want is through our action. And we might hold the belief that if something in our life isn't happening, not happening fast enough, or we're not getting the results that we want, what we need to do is try harder. We need to effort more. We need to do more. We need to try to control it, get back in control of it. Yeah, it's this core belief around how we think we get what we want in life, which comes from doing and efforting and trying harder and being more perfect and proving ourselves and pushing ourselves. That's this whole sort of belief system and framework we have around how we think we get our needs met in life and how we get what we want in life. And often this is coming from core wounding, which is why we call it the wounded masculine. It can often come from places in our life where we didn't get needs met. And we never learned that we could just get what we wanted with ease. We didn't learn that it just came to us, that it just happened, that it was easy. Instead, it felt like I have to put in effort to get this. I have to be perfect to get this. I have to perform well to get this love, this validation, this connection, this belonging. And so it starts developing this over-functioning to get our needs met. Do you understand that? Rather than just holding this feeling and belief like, I get what I want in life. I get my needs met, my desires come to me, it's easy, it's effortless. At some point we experienced not getting core needs met, a need for safety, a need for love, a need to feel enough, a need for security. And we started learning, I have to try to get that. I have to effort to get that. I have to be a certain way to get that. And we're still doing that now. We're still over functioning. And we've learned to hunt, seek, and chase for what we want. And we start subconsciously using wounded masculine energy as an adult, using our action, using control to get our needs met. Because probably as a kid, we felt out of control. We felt powerless around getting these really important needs met. And so now as an adult, we're like, well, I don't want to feel that way again. I'm going to get back in control. I'm going to take action. I'm going to make sure I get what I want. Okay. So we understand it, right? We understand why we do this, but there is a fundamental problem with this, and it's the whole energetics behind it. It's the whole energetics behind it. The problem is that wounded masculine energy repels what you want. And even if you do get what you want, it's never going to feel like enough. It's not going to satisfy you because it's coming from a place of wounding, and the wound is never filled by the external. The wound can only be filled through the deeper healing work. And your wounded masculine energy repels what you want because when you are taking that action, you are in a space of fear. You're in a space of lack or scarcity or need or deprivation or unworthiness or doubt, or you're feeling unsafe. You are repelling what you want because you are moving from a place of wounding, not from a place of power. You're repelling what you want because you're over-functioning in your masculine doing energy and you're not in your feminine receptivity. Your feminine receptivity is what allows you to receive. You're not in your magnetism, which is what allows you to draw it to you. You're not open, you're not relaxed, which allows it to come in. So we can do all we want, and maybe you've experienced this, you've done a lot of doing. You either get it and you feel great for, an hour, a day, a week, and then you need the next thing. Or you get it and you realize you don't still feel the way you want to feel. You need more in order to feel the way you want to feel. Or you get it, but you're so exhausted and burnt out and depleted from the process of trying to get it that it just doesn't satisfy you anyway. You're like, was this even worth it? Was it even worth the toll it took on me to try to get here? Okay, they're all signs you're in wounded masculine. So there's nothing wrong with doing. I am not anti-doing. I am not anti-achievement. You want to be achieving and creating. There are things that are important to you. There are needs you have that you want to get met. That is absolutely true. So it's not about giving up on that. It is about the energy you move from. It is about the way you move towards these things. It is about what energy is driving your action. One energy is repelling and one energy is magnetic. It's all about the energy, the level of embodiment, who you're being, how you're feeling, the quality of your nervous system as you're doing what you're doing. that determines whether your action is repelling what you want or magnetizing it towards you and creating what you want. So that's what we want to look at. And that's where the healing around wounded masculine energy happens. It's not about just not doing anymore and vilifying masculine energy and being like, masculine energy is bad. It's about doing the healing work inside your nervous system and your body and around all this fear energy that's unprocessed inside of you and all these inner child woundings you have around all these places your needs weren't met. When you do that inner healing work, you can relax. You can drop back into your feminine. You can feel safe and whole and complete inside yourself. And then you can take this beautiful, calm, grounded, intuitively inspired action that actually truly helps you create and receive what you want. Yeah. This is the premise of the work that I do. This is the work we do inside Divine Femme. I do so much coaching and support with women around really working on their embodiment, their nervous system, their connection to these energies, and really watching how they're showing up in these energies and bringing both wounded and wounded masculine and wounded feminine into their healthy expression through the healing work. So that's what we do inside Divine Femme. If you do ever feel like you want to actually get some support on working through this, because this is rife in our society. Like, this is basically how everyone has been taught to create what they want in life. And this is why we have so many people that are so burnt out and exhausted and depleted and ultimately really unfulfilled. Even though they're climbing the corporate ladder and they're finding and hunting down that man that they want and they got all this money, they're still so unsatisfied and unfulfilled. And it's all because of the energy they're moving from in their life. Okay, so let's go into 3 places that wounded masculine energy is repelling what you want. I'm going to unpack this a little for you and just give you, ultimately what we want this to look like so that you can magnetize and create what you want. Okay, the first area is in relationships. So if you are a woman who is wanting to attract a masculine man, showing up in your wounded masculine energy to try to get him is not going to work. Yet most of us do that, and we do that without realizing. Your relationships need your feminine energy. It is your feminine energy that will create and magnetize what you desire in a relationship from a beautiful masculine man. And we need a little sprinkle of some healthy masculine energy in there as well, but you want to lead with your feminine. So when we show up in wounded masculine in relationships, there's often a lot around our needs playing out here, which is like what I was saying earlier. There's some triggers and some fears and some feelings of like, I'm not going to get my needs met here. And I want you to think about what the needs are you're holding inside your relationship, whether it's just the need for that person in general, like you're single and you want to meet someone and you're like, on some level, you feel a bit needy for this relationship. Maybe it's certain things you feel like you need from your partner that they're not giving, and you often feel a bit deprived or anxious or desperate or graspy or like there's something that's not truly being met for you. And it could be like an inner child wound is getting triggered and you're expecting your partner to show up in a way to kind of alleviate all of this emotion and discomfort you're feeling. Or it could be like a genuine need that you would really love your partner to be meeting, and it's not getting met, and you're getting pretty anxious about it inside yourself. And so what you might find yourself doing is starting to control him, starting to micromanage him, starting to nitpick at him. You might find yourself trying to control how the relationship is unfolding. If you're dating, trying to control the dynamic, the pace of the dating, control, and micromanage his feelings towards you. You might be overthinking the whole way that you're showing up and communicating inside that dynamic. You might be trying to lead it. You might be trying to initiate a lot of things to get it moving along, to try to, get what you want from him. Like, you're coming into the masculine energy. Yeah, and we do that with long-term partnerships as well. We start controlling and micromanaging our partner and bossing them around and trying to control the way that they show up for us and the way they meet our needs. It can also cause you to default into the hyper-independent woman, which is still wounded masculine. And you're like, oh, well, he's not going to do it, so I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to do it for him. Or I don't, these men are all hopeless and pathetic. I don't need a man. I'm just going to do it myself. And we can kind of become really isolated and self-sufficient and hard and independent and closed and just shut people off because we don't trust them. We don't trust them to show up for us and meet our needs. And again, this is wounded masculine. Or again, just really micromanaging the way that your partner is doing things and kind of telling them a lot and bossing them around a lot. And this is, a lot of like, we're using masculine energy to try to get our man to be what we want him to be. And it literally is so repelling. It emasculates him. It polarizes him into the feminine energy. Or it might just totally push him away altogether. Like if you become quite anxious, he might go quite avoidant. So one of the core reasons that this repels things in our relationships is because, especially with a masculine man, like he can't feel you. Okay, you need to be a woman who is feelable, where he can truly feel your heart, he can feel your emotions, he can feel truly what you need, he can feel what's going on for you. And what most of us don't do is we don't open up our heart and really reveal and share our tender, vulnerable, feminine feelings of like, I'm feeling really sad. I'm feeling really alone inside this relationship. I'm feeling like I really am needing like more connection from you. And I just feel like that's not, that's something you can't give me at the moment. That's like leaving me feeling really sad. We're not honestly sharing and revealing what we need, not from a place of attack and blame and control and manipulation, but from a really tender, vulnerable, real space of like, here's how I'm feeling. And actually giving him space to step in and do something about it and understand what you need and what that would look like for you to, for him to do that for you. Or inside a dating scenario, just really genuinely sharing like, hey, like I really like you and I'm not sure how you're feeling about me at the moment. And I'd really like to know how you're feeling. I'd really like to know, what your vision is for this relationship. Like, where do you see this going? What do you want this to become? Like, that's vulnerable. And we don't do that. And that is the feminine element that a lot of us are not bringing. And the feminine, when you're truly in your heart, connected to what you're feeling, truly revealing and showing that is so magnetic. That actually inspires a man to want to show up for you because he can feel you. He can feel what you're feeling. He can feel what you need. You're not needy of him, but you're communicating these clear needs and desires that are really important to you. And if he loves you and cares about you, he's going to want to meet that. He's going to want to make you happy and show up for you in the way that he can, right? So when our heart is closed and guarded, when we are in our masculine, we're in our head, all we're doing is thinking about all the ways he's not, who we want him to be. We're controlling him, we're nitpicking at him, we're criticizing him, we're micromanaging him, we're emasculating him. Like, that is just pushing him away. It is not going to magnetize what you want. What we need to do as the feminine is first take responsibility for what's coming up for us. In the feminine work, we connect with our feelings, we connect with our body, we alchemize our emotions, we hold our inner child if she's feeling triggered. We take responsibility for what comes up inside of us and we use our practices to process that, to alchemize that, to work through that, and we shift our energy. And then we want to bring ourselves into a place of trust and relaxation and surrender. We want to lean back into your own body, lean back into your energy, lean back into your feminine and let go of the obsession over him for a moment and what he's doing and what he's not doing. And really drop back into your body and feel what's going on for you and actually bring your inner masculine to yourself. Your inner masculine, which is your presence, your consciousness, your awareness. Hold space for yourself and listen to what you need and then actually show up for that first. Like, if you're demanding your partner's not meeting your needs, are you meeting your needs? Is your inner masculine showing up for you and taking action on what you truly need? That's where we begin. So begin with taking responsibility and feeling what's coming up for you and working through it and showing up for yourself and meeting those needs for yourself, filling yourself up with some beautiful practices that can make you feel really calm again and connected to yourself and happy and full in your own energy, and then sit down with him and say, hey, like, I've got some things on my heart. Can I share them with you? Do you have space to listen? Because there's some things that are really important to me that I just want to talk to you about. And hopefully he'll say yes. And you'll be like, can you just listen? You know, I don't need you to do anything in this moment. I just need you to hear me. And here's how I'm feeling. And just let him hear you, and then let him respond. And maybe he'll come up with a solution. Maybe he'll tell you what he thinks he can do about it. And if he doesn't, you can say, okay, well, here's what I would really need. This is what I would really need to feel really like met in this situation. Is that something that you feel like you could do? That is an invitation. That is not a demand. That is not a request. That is not you being masculine. That is using your feminine heart to reveal what you're feeling and express a desire and make a request. So we need to understand it is so important in relationship that we are not showing up in wounded masculine energy, and we all do it. Trust me, like as soon as you feel unsafe, you will likely go into wounded masculine. But instead, you need to support the parts of you that feel unsafe, and then start to learn how to bring your feminine energy and your feminine heart so that he can feel you. That is so magnetic. It is inspiring to him. It will evoke the masculine in him. The more feminine you are, the more masculine he'll become. And this is when you'll receive what you really want in your relationships. Okay, the second area that we can use wounded masculine energy, and this is very common, is in our career, our work, our businesses, right? Our money, you know, anything around our work in the world, because this is an area where there's a lot of doing. We do a lot in this area, right? So it's really natural to bring like a lot of masculine energy to this area of life. And so you can bring healthy masculine energy, absolutely, to your work, your plans, your goals, your career, you know, the money that you're making, the sales you're making, whatever you're doing. You want to bring doing energy to that, right? You don't want to just sit back and meditate and hope it's all going to happen. But there's a difference between moving towards what you want to create in your work or your business, your career, from a really grounded, calm, regulated, intuitively guided, intentional space, versus this like fear-driven, scarcity, lack, need, desperation, frenetic, hustly push energy, right? Rushing, overriding your body. And ultimately the fear that comes up, and tune into what it is for you, but very often it's that we're not going to get the results that we want. We're afraid that we're not going to get certain results, whether there's a promotion we want in our work, whether there's a client we want to land, whether there's a sale we want to make, whether there's a certain money target we want to reach, whether there's a certain, program we're selling, a product we're selling. It doesn't matter what it is. Often if we're not seeing, say we're doing a lot, putting in a lot of effort, and we're not getting results, most of us start to feel afraid. We feel scarcity, we feel lack, we feel desperation, we feel need, we feel worried. We're like, oh my God, it's not going to happen. What if it doesn't happen? I'm not going to make any money. I'm not going to be okay. And we actually go into unsafety. We don't feel secure. We don't feel safe. We don't feel relaxed. All this fear floods our system, and then we use all that fear energy to try to take more action to make it happen. And again, we go back to that core belief system. Well, if it's not happening, I just have to try harder. I just have to work more. I just have to do more. I need a better strategy. I need to think about this more. And, some of that might be true, but you've really got to look at the way that you're moving, right? What's driving you? The reason this type of action is actually really repelling is, again, because of the space that it's coming from. It's coming from lack. It's coming from need. The energies of lack and need are very repelling. You're sort of subconsciously sending out the message and implying, I don't have what I want. Like, that's your frequency, right? In that moment. Your frequency is, I don't have what I want, I'm lacking it, and I want to try to go get it. I need to get it through my action. So just think about that frequency you're putting out into the universe is, I don't have what I want. It's not here yet. It's not working. I'm lacking it. And energy doesn't lie. Your clients feel it. Your customers feel it. People feel it through the words that you write. They feel it through your Instagram posts. They feel it through your sales call. They feel it. So again, we have to take responsibility for that energy. The other way as well that this wounded masculine can play out in our work is when we actually are feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome. On some level, we feel inadequate, we feel unworthy, we feel not good enough. And so what we're trying to do is use our action to prove that we are. Maybe you're in a career setting where this happens. Maybe this is how you show up online in your work. But it's this proving energy of trying to prove I am a success, trying to prove that you should buy from me, trying to prove that I'm good enough for you to be a part of my program. And we're sort of trying to prove it to ourselves and prove it to other people at the same time. And it's so icky. It's really coming from a wounded, insecure space, and you're not in your power, and that's just not the place you want to be showing up in your work from, right? But we all do it. We all get into that crazy frenetic place. So what we need to do is, again, and these principles are pretty similar, is we need to take ownership. Like when you are taking action, check in on your body and notice how you're feeling. What space are you moving from? If you are super heady, barely breathing, your shoulders are up around your ears, you're stressed, if you're feeling desperation, scarcity, lack, if you have seen that there's no results coming in, so you're taking all this action to try to get the results, it's just notice that. The best thing you can do in that moment is just pause and actually step away. Stop taking any action in that moment and go take care of your body and your nervous system. Go and do something for yourself to bring your energy back into alignment. Fill yourself up. Do a pleasure practice, do a self-care practice, get out in nature. Do something to regulate your nervous system. Okay? Because you want to show up in your work from a space of overflow. This is the feminine, where our feminine life force is nourished and taken care of and feeling full and creative and magnetic and ready to overflow into everything we want to do. And the more whole you feel inside yourself, the more enough you feel, the more safe and secure you feel, the more lit up you feel, the more you're moving from joy and excitement and alignment rather than desperation and need, the more magnetic you are. People feel drawn to you because your energy is radiant. It can feel it. It's subconscious. And you are magnetic to it because you are already in the energy of what you want. So just think about whatever it is you want to feel by getting that result. Like, how would you feel if you got those clients? How would you feel if you got that money? How would you feel if you got that promotion? How is it you want to feel? You need to show up in that energy as you're taking action. The more you are being it now, the more you are in alignment and magnetic to receiving more of it. You're an energetic match to it. Be in the energy of when you're doing of what you want to receive, and you will be a magnet to it. Again, so that requires us to take responsibility for our emotional, energetic state and our level of embodiment and who we're being. And then if you are going to take action, be guided by your healthy, grounded masculine energy. This is masculine energy that is in service to your feminine. So once you take care of your feminine, you relax yourself, you come into your body, you get back into feeling good. And I teach so many practices, feminine embodiment practices that help you do that. Then you want to tune in a really just calm, grounded place and be like, okay, what's one step I could take? What step do I feel inspired to take? What step am I being guided to take? Something where you actually feel grounded, calm, regulated, and you're just going to take that step because it feels like the next obvious thing to do. You're not trying to get anything. You're moving from a place of inspiration. You're overflowing all that beautiful energy you created in yourself into what you're trying to create in the world. Okay? This is how we be magnetic. And I have had to work on this so much running a business. It is so easy to get into wounded masculine energy. It's so easy to be like, it's not working. No one's buying. No one's seeing my stuff on Instagram, blah, 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 all the stories. And it is my practice to not take action from that place, to go and work on my energy first, and then really tune in and find that intuitively guided step that I'm truly being inspired to take that will help me move forward. Okay, the third place that our wounded masculine energy repels what we want is within ourselves. It repels us from being the woman we want to be, right? Like, how do we feel in wounded masculine energy? We feel stressed, we feel tense, we feel anxious, we feel like we're becoming the worst version of ourselves, we're snappy at our partners, snappy at our children, we're exhausted, we're stuck in our head, our bodies feel all tense and contracted and full of knots. Yeah, we feel needy, we feel desperate, we feel insecure. It's yucky, right? No one likes it. And I even had this huge realization, and I'm not going to talk about it in more depth now because it is a private journey for me that I will talk about later. But I had this huge realization the other day that I had been bringing wounded masculine energy to my conception journey. Because my partner and I have been on a journey of wanting to conceive, and I caught it the other month. I was like, oh my God, Connie, you are using wounded masculine energy to try to conceive. Like, what? The most feminine thing you can experience, which is conception, which is receiving, this beautiful embryo, this baby into your womb, the sperm to connect with your egg. It is all about feminine receptivity. It's like such a feminine experience, and we use wounded masculine energy there. We start micromanaging, controlling the process, being like, it's not working, I need to try harder, I need to do more, I need to track my cycle more, I need to get my diet perfect, I need to go and talk to another specialist. That's all wounded masculine energy. It's all coming from the fear that it's not going to happen. And I had that realization the other day, and I was like, whoa, this energy sneaks in and you got to catch it. So I caught it there, and I've made a lot of shifts in my energy, and it's been beautiful. And at some point, I'm sure later, I will teach more on that process. But for now, I just want to drop that in because that can happen. So again, this is about taking ownership of like who we're being, and we need to decide, who do I want to be while I'm creating what I want? Who do I want to be while I'm creating what I want? How do I want to feel while I'm working towards what I want? Because that energy is getting infused into every step you take, and it is determining how that outcome is going to feel, and it's determining what outcome you're creating. So create a vision, connect in with the qualities you want to embody, who you want to be. This is the feminine work. The feminine work is the being. It's not just the doing. Because if it was just about the doing, all of us could have what we want. We just have to be working all the time and we'd all be millionaires. It's not just about the doing. It's about who you're being. It's about your energy. It's about the energy that's getting infused in. It's about whether you're moving from lack or scarcity or abundance and overflow, whether you're moving from desperation and unhappiness or joy and pleasure. It's not just about what you're doing. So this is the feminine work. Who are you being? What is your embodiment like? What qualities are you embodying? What energy are you bringing? Decide on that and get really clear on that, and hold that as an intention of who you want to be while you're creating what you want, while you're doing what you want, and have practices each day that connect you with who you want to be, that connect you with how you want to feel. This is why I do a feminine morning practice every morning. It brings me into being the woman I want to be. I feel alive, inspired, magnetic, radiant, nourished, whole, connected to myself, abundant. I'm appreciating what I've got. I'm appreciating what's going well. And then it's like, cool, and now let's create more of it. I'm happy with what I have and I'm excited for more. Not like, oh my God, it's not working, it's not happening. I'm going to have to try so much harder today and do so much more to try to get what I want. Okay, so you can feel the difference, right? One is magnetic and one is very repelling. And so this is the work that we need to do, is really witnessing where our wounded masculine energy is running these different areas of our life. And I guarantee you, if you look at it, you're going to see it everywhere because it sneaks in everywhere. We want to take ownership for that, notice that. I teach a lot of deeper healing work that helps you really unravel your wounded masculine energy at the root cause. Nervous system work, inner child work, embodiment work. I've really got to a place where I used to run solely off wounded masculine energy in my work. Like that's all it was. And now it's this embodied, empowered, magnetic feminine. And it is so much more enjoyable. It is so much more easeful. And it's like the results are so much better. Same in my relationship. My God, the quality of our relationship has improved so much by me learning how to bring a juicy, alive, vulnerable, tender, magnetic feminine energy to him rather than this nitpicky, controlling, bossy, emasculating feminine that's like, you need to do this and you're not doing that. And, God. So we know this stuff, right? And you want to be the woman you want to be. You want to feel the way you want to feel. And this is how we do it, through healing our wounded masculine, reconnecting with our beautiful feminine energy, and then bringing in healthy masculine energy that allows us to take clear, conscious, empowered, grounded, intuitively guided action in the direction of what we want. Okay? No more hustling, forcing, pushing, controlling, micromanaging from this scared, frenetic, desperate, needy place. You get to feel relaxed, embodied, in flow, feminine, magnetic, radiant, regulated, at ease, nourished as you move towards what you want. And oh my God, it actually comes so much faster and so much more easily and in so much more abundance when you do it this way. Okay? You actually truly get to receive. You truly get to receive. The feminine is meant to receive. And you don't just get to get it, which is what the wounded masculine does. He gets it, and we go, oh, I still don't feel how I want to feel. This way you actually truly get to receive it. It lands into your body because you're in your body. Yeah, it's the feminine element that allows you to truly receive and actually feel it. So if you want to do this deeper work with me, come into Divine Femme. This is where I do this work with you. You get all this beautiful coursework and curriculum, embodiment practices, journaling prompts, 12 powerful modules that will take you through this work. You get 12 group coaching calls with me. I work with you individually on these coaching calls. I will coach you, come off mute, talk with me. I will support you and give you personalized support. You get to be a part of our community for 6 months. And you get to come to 6 live embodiment calls as well, where I do a lot of this embodiment-based work with you to create these deep shifts in your body. So come down to the show notes to learn more about Divine Femme. Enrollments are open for this intake until Sunday the 10th of November, and the price increases on Wednesday the 6th of November. So if you want to get in at early bird pricing, sign up before then. I hope this episode was supportive for you. I love this topic. I loved bringing this to you. Thank you so much for being tuned in. If you love this episode, make sure you're subscribed to Awaken Radio. Share this episode with a friend. Share it to your stories. Tag me. Send me a message. Let me know your biggest takeaway. And I would love to, share your stories on Instagram if you share it there as well. Thank you so much for being tuned into this episode, my love. And I look forward to talking to you again next time.